All right, can everybody hear me? I'm going to remove the thumbnail really quick. I'm not going to take forever to have everyone file in. Everyone can come in as they will. Oh, of course, there's ads. I'll wait for everybody. Make sure they pop up. All right, just waiting. Let me know when you can hear me, everything like that. I'm gonna be on a bit of a delay, it looks like, but we're gonna be fixing that up before next year. So awesome. Awesome. Everyone can hear me. Yes, I don't have any extra face fuzz anymore. But thank you guys all for coming in here. I know this isn't something that we normally do, but I'll be real. I miss streaming. I miss streaming, and I know that I'm going to be doing a lot of streaming next year. A lot. Um, so if you guys like a lot of the live stuff going on, be sure to subscribe. Like this, by the way. I think that might be a new thing we do. Is that I think we'll be liking having like goals and different things like that for streams. Trying to make it more fun for you guys. Have some fun with it. Yes. So really quick, there's something funny, and this happens just about every podcast, but we never really talk about it all that much. But there's a thing on YouTube when you're streaming where there'll be a little money emoji thing. And I'll say, now would be a good time to insert ads. And it literally does that at the start of every stream. I hope you guys can tell I don't do that. I would not want to do that. I'm going to close that up. But really quick, as we get people filing in here, I want to thank Cavante for the $5 super chat saying, what kind of season would Ty and Noah have to have for you to say they had a solid rookie season? I think a lot of it depends just because, the expectations are going to be way too high, I think, for the start of the year. I think a lot of people think that Noah and Ty are actually going to be like, top 10 guys out there week in and week out. I don't know about that. But I would say this. For Noah, if he outperforms Ty Dillon, I think that would be a successful season. For Ty, if he makes the playoffs, even if he finishes 16th, I think that'd be a good season. That's personally what I would say with that. I wouldn't go and expect too awful much, but I think those would be successful seasons for both of them. Let's see what else we got here. Be sure, lick that like button, tell all your family, friends, whoever is interested. Let's have some fun and get as many people in here as possible. But looking at some of the stuff the chat put, and I'll read from the community post that we talked about, or I put out a couple days ago. Yes, I did shave. I look skinnier that way. I've noticed, at least. Like, my chin is actually visible, even if it's at like a weird angle. Let's see. Hey, what are you doing this weekend for 10? Well, I'm going to the Vikings game with my dad. So I'm actually going to be Saturday afternoon into the evening flying into Minneapolis. So if anyone's in Minneapolis or if anyone is going to the game, say hi. I'll be there. I don't know which jersey I'll be in yet. I got like a dozen of them, but I can't wait for that. Nolan says that Bud hat is tight. Yeah, I got this one at a local NASCAR shop up in Rockford, Illinois. So, beer gear store. Let's see what else we got. Jarrett looks 16. I don't know, man. I gotta get rid of the double chin. I think I've been working out all off season. So, Vikings Jets should be Sunday night. Well, I know it's not going to be because it's too late for them to change that, but maybe one day I'll go to a Sunday night football game. What did Kevin Harvick say? Because I've been busy all day. I made a video today. No, I remind you of your grandpa. No one recognizes me without the beard. I get that a lot. Yeah, what did Kevin... I want to see what Kevin Harvick said. because I haven't been paying attention much of the day. But I know that if many people are talking about it, I know many people are making different videos about it, that it's got to be a big deal. If it's about the fact that he's non-committal about his future and says he'll know by Daytona if 2023 is his final season, I kind of figured that'd be the talk, personally. Yeah, that's what I was thinking it would be. Boo Jimmy, I do not have a Justin Jefferson jersey, but maybe I'll have one after the 25th. But as for Kevin Harvick, I would say, I'm not surprised if 2023 would be his last season. I know that there's rumors going around that Fox Sports wants to have him on with Clint Boyer and Mike Joy. I would like that. I think Kevin Harvick in the booth is really good, especially if Kurt Busch doesn't go up into the booth. Because I think Kurt Busch and Kevin Harvick are probably the two most well-spoken drivers that could go up there, but I don't know just yet. Let's see what else we got here. Jarrett, why do you have to keep shaving your beard? I'll be real. I've had a beard. I know a lot of talk will be about me being clean shaven. I've had a beard almost nonstop since I graduated high school, and that was, God, how long was that? Was 7 years ago. So I'm just want to change some stuff up for a bit. Any chance you live in New Lenox, Illinois? No, I'm in Tennessee now. And I couldn't get paid to live in Illinois at this point. Let's see some of the other stuff you guys have to say. No, I don't connect me with the Patriots. Don't do that. We already kicked their ass 10 days ago. We didn't kick their ass. We beat them. But no. Nolan says in the chat, low key, a Mike Joy, Kevin Harvick, Jamie Mack booth would be ideal. I agree. I do agree. Jamie McMurray was awesome in the booth last year. I like Chad Canales. I know a lot of people didn't. But I honest to God would love that to be the booth. Let's see some of the ones from the community posts that people put. By the way, if we can get, a few more people in here, I do have some cool stuff coming up for next year. But one thing I'll tell you guys now as we eclipse 100 mark is you see this mic. I've had this mic for the podcast for like 2 or 3 years. The camera I'm on I've had for that long. This might be the last live stream I ever do with that setup. I got a lot of money invested into a new setup, new mic, new camera, a lot of stuff for audio. Make sure the audio is better for next year. I put a ton of money into that, and I think that there's going to be some pretty good results with it. So just letting you guys know that if you've been, if you notice a change in the camera quality or the audio, that's why. So that should be, it should be pretty interesting to see what the difference is with it. I'm really excited for it personally. Spencer says, I would love a mini Motor Mouth segment similar to what Danny B did with his call-ins stream last month for the podcast next year. Well, I don't know about the podcast, but I might do that after like the 40-minute mark of the post-race streams. Like maybe each week we'll get like 10 people in. I don't know if I'll use Zoom and OBS for that though. So we might be using something different. Maybe I'll run over to StreamYard and see how good that is. I know that like guys like Five and Tree use that. There's gonna be a lot of different stuff on the channel next year. I'm starting out with shorts. I think we'll be doing more about that. There's gonna be a lot. I'm gonna try and make stuff a lot better for next year because I'll be real. I'm probably gonna be streaming more next year. I love live streaming. Maybe, I don't know about every weekend, but I know for a lot of weekends I'm not the track, that if I'm not busy during races like them, I might do post-race streams after the Truck Series races and Xfinity races. So that might be something. Thoughts on a NASCAR timeline series similar to Weird History's timeline series to celebrate NASCAR's 75th anniversary? I think anything that can show the actual history and leading up to this 75th season would be a really big deal, and I think would really be ideal for NASCAR to do. So I would personally like for that to be done in its own kind of way. I don't want it to be like somebody else's stuff too much, but I would definitely like something like that. StreamYard is good because donation-wise, users can do more than $500 limit here. I don't know about that. If that is the case, then maybe we'll do super chat limits too and different stuff like that, as well as like stuff. Not limits, but like goals, super chat goals, like goals, stuff like that. As much as I hate YouTube Shorts, apparently it's been blowing up. It's apparently been blowing up so much. Yes. So YouTube is definitely gearing a lot of stuff towards shorts. So if you see it pushed to you a lot, even if it's not like anyone you follow, that's why. NWP NFL standings: number 1, Minnesota Vikings for me, 9-2. Tennessee Titans, 7-4 for Danny. Third, the 3-8 LA Rams for Darian, and fourth, Houston 9-1 for Eric. That's tough. That's rough, buddy. And looking at some of the stuff that people put in the community posts, though, let's get into some of the questions that people had. First off, from Combat Racer, should Cole Custer have been demoted for Ryan Preece? And will Preece perform better in the same equipment? I think Custer should have, personally. I talked about it a little bit today in my video about Cole Custer, but I think that Cole Custer, in a lot of ways, I don't feel like he got rushed up, but I feel like he got led astray in his career, not necessarily by an influence of anybody, but more so by the fact that Custer, if you look at his rookie season, it honestly was not as bad as people might think. I mean, it wasn't good by any means, but the last two seasons for Custer were abysmal. I mean, I'm talking like Danica Patrick level bad. So I think it was good to demote him at that point. There's nowhere he's going to go. You can't change the situation too much without having that be done. As for Preece performing better in the same equipment, I think so personally. I think Preece is a lot better of a driver than people think. I think he'll perform better than Eric Almirola next year. He might perform better than Chase Briscoe. I mean, yeah, Briscoe made it to the round of 8, but did Briscoe really perform that good, or did he perform good enough for the system itself? Because when you look at his season overall, it wasn't exactly great. So I think that Preece will be pretty good. I think Preece will be a borderline playoff driver. I think he'll be like a 15th to 18th place guy next year. Hoyt Moore says, will Kyle Busch perform good in RCR equipment? Will KFB still be the best Truck Series team? As for the Truck Series team, it's hard to guess at the moment. With the drivers, I don't think so personally. But as for Kyle Busch performing next year, I think that he's actually going to do a lot better than people think. I'm not going to give specifics of how I think he'll do. That'll be in the season starting video or year starting video for next year, about 23 predictions for 2023. But I think he will be championship level next year. You saw what Reddick did with that car. Kyle Busch takes better care of his equipment than Tyler Reddick does. So I think the amount of DNFs will be down a lot. And I think Kyle Busch will be a multi-time winner next year. I won't give the exact amount. I won't say how far I think he's going to go, but I think that this is going to be a big season for Rowdy. Looking at that super chat there from Ivan. Thank you for the 5. I know this is off topic, but I want to hear your thoughts on the Denver Broncos and also Broncos country. Let's ride into sadness. They're a train wreck this year. Nathaniel Hackett was definitely not the right choice as coach. And I will say this, I'm so glad Minnesota picked Kevin O'Connell over him, because Nathaniel Hackett was somebody on their short list. So, whew. As for Russell Wilson, I guess you guys are just stuck with him. Let's see. I see Irvin says 2 to 3 wins for Kyle ain't far-fetched. Some saying Busch will win Fontana. Watch Busch finally win the 500 and the 8. That would be wild. To see the Grade 8 return to victory lane at Daytona for the first time since Dale Jr. won there. Oh, the salt mines would be beautiful. Oh, they'd be amazing. Let's see what else we got here. Tyler Johnson left the comment of what he wants to talk about. Chex Mix, very good salty snack. In moderate doses. I don't know. Like I like the rye chips the best in that personally. But that's what I got for. That's all I got for Chex Mix. Avery, thank you for your comment as well. Life in the off season with the Iceberg. I mean, you kind of see a lot of it. I do. I still do my videos every week. I still, I want to do live streams a couple times. Actually, for all of you NASCAR Weekly podcast viewers, one thing you might like to hear is that we do off-season meetings. I won't tell too much in depth because I don't want to spoil anything. But the preparations and different changes and everything like that are going into effect already, and we're working on season 6 already. It's gonna be really fun. February 1st on this channel. It's gonna be the same vibe, but it might look a little better. I guess is what you might be able to say about it. I think you guys will like it. How many wins do you think Reddick will get? Maybe I would say 2 or 3. I think he'll be pretty good, honestly. What's your upcoming videos? Well, I do have a short coming out tomorrow on Wendell Scott, so that should be interesting. As I want to pull this up to be sure, but if I'm not mistaken, this is like the 60 something years anniversary since his win in the NASCAR Winston. We're not even at that point. It was the NASCAR Grand National Series when he got his dub at Jacksonville. And to be completely honest, when you look back at how Wendell Scott was in his career, that dude was a badass, both on and off the track. Let me double check the exact date of his victory. But I know it was 1964. Or 1963. So it would be, God, why am I so bad at math right now? It would be the 59-year anniversary of his win at Jacksonville, if I'm not mistaken. Today. December 1st, 1963 at Speedway Park in Jacksonville, Florida, after winning a 200-lap race, which is officially down in the books at 202 because they let the race go 2 laps longer to crown another winner. Wendell Scott won in a 62 Chevrolet in his 34 car. The reason they did that, they initially placed Wendell Scott in 3rd position and let Buck Baker win the race because in 1960s Florida, they didn't want to see a black man kissing a white trophy girl. And it is a pretty ugly scar on NASCAR history. But if you look at what Wendell Scott went through, how he was off the track, what a great all-around driver and engineer he was, with all that was against him. The dude was a hell of a personality and driver and all-around just force in the sport. And I guarantee you, if he raced 20, 30 years later, that man would have been like in the top 5. Like if you look at Wendell Scott's career, and granted, top 10s and top 5s are a little differently weighted now than they were back when he raced. If you look at his career, he had tons of top 5s, top 10s. He had 20 top 5s on his career and 147 top 10s, led only 27 laps. But this is, again, back when being able to last to the finish was actually really big. That's what the point system at the time really helped push. More than anything, that's why a lot of point systems in the early days of NASCAR had laps completed as earning points on top of finishing order. So it's, dude, Dude's an awesome guy. Are you going to Barber Motorsports Park, or are you going to do Barber Motorsports Park down in Birmingham? Well, I went past there. I know IndyCar races there. I don't know if I will. I know I have, granted, it's hard to make them because of the NASCAR schedule, but I might go to some World of Outlaw races in 2023. And I'm definitely looking at the possibility of going to NHRA races. I think there's 3 or 4 IndyCar races and about 8 to 16 Cup races. I might go to. I'm going to try and get to the track more, because I think that you guys, I want to see about having a different perspective on different motorsports and different events. Cam, thank you for the 10. Definitely off topic. What do you recommend for a small podcast about motorsports? I really enjoy your content, and you and Eric are 2 driving forces, no pun not intended, to getting back into NASCAR. So I would say this to start with. Now, I was lucky that I had guys like Danny and Eric give me a chance when I started out. Danny already had a couple hundred subscribers. Eric, I think at that point was around, I want to say 50 or 60,000 subs, about where I am now. And then Darian, I think, had 1,000 or 2,000 at that point. And so I will admit I did have a bit of luck and help with the podcast. What I would say is be unapologetically yourself. Now, I'm not saying, go overboard, don't be like, F this guy, F that guy. I made that mistakes early on. But I would say talk about what you like talking about. If it's what everyone else is talking about, talk about it with passion. If it's something that people aren't talking about, give people reasons why to talk about it. If you want to have on guests, definitely have a reason to have them on. See if they fit with what you want to talk about as well. Don't go for people that are like, don't go for big names if you don't think you could hold a conversation with them. I made that mistake in the past, and it's very awkward. If there's somebody that you really, really, really like, shoot for it. Me and the guys from the podcast, I sent it over, but we got Bobby Allison in the first year. We got Alan Bestwick before. I won't lie. I've shot my shot and tried to get Dale Jr. on. I've tried to get Jeff Gordon. I'm not going to say I didn't. And if you fail, keep pushing. I think that would be the big one. Just keep pushing. Be passionate. Talk about what you want. And don't quit. If you only have 3 or 4 people watching, don't quit. Because at any given time, you might have that take that nobody else is thinking. That nobody else really... that the perspective no one else had, and a lot of people will really appreciate hearing that. Let's see what else we got on here. A lot of talk about Eric, he longest among us in terms of being on YouTube. Yeah, Eric has been on, God, this has to be going on 10 years. Let me double check to be sure when he started up. I'm pretty sure it's he's been on YouTube a long time. I definitely appreciate hearing his insight. Oh my God, he's been on YouTube almost 12 years. Holy Jesus. Now, granted, he probably didn't upload on all that time. Let's see what else we got. Cito says, are you going to the inaugural Chicago Street Course race in July? Well, I'll be up there for the 4th of July with my family out of town, but I got to tell you, from experience, even at that time of year, going in and out of Chicago around the 4th of July it's a MFer. It's difficult. It is the most congested, crowded time of the year. I will say, if I were, I'll definitely try and apply for media. I don't know if they will want me to after some of the stuff I've said somewhat against it. But I'll say this. Yeah, I know he did. I didn't realize he did stop motions the entire time or not. Because I for instance had this channel up for 3 years before I consistently started uploading. I used to watch his stop motions. But as for Chicago Street Race, it's gonna be hard to do it if I'm just a fan there. Just because driving 90 to 100 miles in and out of Chicago 2 days in a row be difficult. I have no idea, where I'd be able to park, how much I'd have to pay for parking, how much the tickets would be. So TBA. If I'm able to have any kind of access or any way to show it differently than the average Joe would see, yes. If not, I'll be in the garage with post-race streams all weekend. Let's see what else we got here. Looking at the community post for the stream, Evan left the question, would you like to see the schedule with no road courses? I would want some road courses. I personally love Sonoma. I like Watkins Glen. I don't know about the Roval yet. I like it, but I don't know if it'll stay because of ratings-wise. I'd love Road America back, but again, if nobody watches, NASCAR shouldn't have to put it there. I'm trying to think. I like COTA. I've been a huge proponent of COTA since 2018, and I will stay on that. That is one of the best places NASCAR races at in general. The facility is beautiful. The racing has been pretty good. Great moments, especially with that finish this year with Ross Chastain's first win. Very fitting. So I would say Sonoma, Watkins Glen. If people start watching the Roval more, I think NASCAR can keep it. I would like the Roval to stay, and COTA. Those would be my four. I'd say get rid of the Indy Road Course. Personally, even though I think it has overall better racing than the Brickyard, it just becomes too much of a cluster at the end that I wouldn't be crazy about keeping it. I know that there's talk. There's a lot of talk about the Brickyard 400 coming back. Let's see what else we got here. Isaac, you know what we all want. NASCAR romance novel time. That will come. That will be either late December or early to mid-January. It'll be in there. So there will be a NASCAR romance novel stream. It has 300 freaking pages or more. It's going to be a long-ass stream. I was thinking about something, and my brother brought this up to me. But I wanted to see if you guys would be for it. And I will read that super chat in a moment. I'm going to leave this poll up here. Would you like to see a... And I'm going to... My brother has been pushing me to do a subathon. If you don't know what a subathon is, it's where every time somebody donates a super chat or you get, subscribers, it adds time onto the live stream. Let me see. I believe Jaden Animations she's still having one. Jesus Christ, she's on day 15 of her subathon. So would you guys want to see a subathon? If so, it would probably be in January. But yeah. The Gun, thank you for the 10. What are your thoughts on Chicagoland, and do you think it'll be back in the next 3 to 5 years? Well, I love Chicagoland. I love that track with a passion. Will it be back? Personally, I think so. I know the track is being kept up in really good shape. I know there's renovations that are going on with like the surrounding area. I know the track is being the track service is being taken care of still. Aren't subathons on Twitch? You can figure out ways to do them on YouTube. Like Jaden Animations is doing it on YouTube right now. And I don't think the Chicago street course is going to be something that stays long term. Seems like the people in the cities don't exactly want to have it. And I think that it might become more of a headache for NASCAR than anything. My brother just texted me, do the subathon. I knew he would do that. And I see we're pretty heavily biased towards that in the poll. But I would say, you know, even if they get the extension on the street course contract, I don't see Chicago overall. I mean, and again, I'm staying out of politics as much as I can with this, but it's a devil that you're going to have to. It's a devil that you have to go against with street races. If Lori Lightfoot gets elected out of being the mayor next year, I don't see the street race in Chicago lasting past next year. By the way, how's it going, Blowing Burger? Good to see you, man. And you can't go back to Daytona because Daytona International Speedway already has an event on the 4th of July weekend. You can't do, and Daytona as a city doesn't want it back. You can't do the street race at Las Vegas impromptu a couple months, after a cancellation which could very well happen. Plus you'd have to do it at night. It'd be super. The logistics of the weather and all of it would not work. So, yeah, I mean, you could see Chicagoland Speedway back by 24. I'm not saying it's the most likely option. The city might bite the bullet and let it ride through that first 3 years, and then from there be like adios. But I do think Chicagoland is in the future of NASCAR. There is, I don't know. I know some people in my comments have been saying this. No, there is no news of a demolition. Joliet now was talking about wanting it back now that they've had a failed bid to bring over the Chicago Bears. So I don't see Chicagoland Speedway going anywhere. And in fact, with sort of the cult following it's brought up, I think that first event will be packed. I think the grandstands will be sold out. I think the infield will be pretty full. I'm hoping, at least, if that were to be the fact. And if any new fans are made in the Chicago area, I think that's a very real possibility. But that's my takes on it. I could talk about Chicagoland Speedway all day and night. Andrew, thank you for the 5. What are some potential markets for a street course that you think are a good idea? I think Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, San Diego, and Denver are good choices. Well, Pittsburgh has actively wanted to and talked to them, so I think that's a good one. Vegas talked about it with the Strip, so Vegas might be one. I don't know about Cincinnati yet. I haven't heard any interest from them. Denver, I know, keeps coming up. Mexico City might be one. And if you don't know, there actually is a huge American population in Mexico City. We're going to end the poll. 79% are saying they want a subathon. So I'll keep that in mind. I might do that. But there's a huge American population in Mexico City because a lot of Americans are moving there because it's cheaper to live there for them. It's, better jobs, stuff like that. So there could be a lot of pull for a Mexico City race. Toronto could be one. I would love one back in Montreal at the track that we used to go to up there. That'd be awesome. Let's see. Let's see. Last question. What was your initial reaction to the Minnesota Buffalo game? I went nuts with that. My dad was here too, so that was awesome. Jarrett, I'm not forgiving your Vikings for beating the Detroit Lions earlier this season. But doesn't everyone beat Detroit? Buffalo was the first team to win back-to-back games in Ford Field in 7 years. I feel bad for Detroit, honestly. I think the new car in Chicagoland will be great, says Cassandra. I agree. I think it would be. I mean, Chicagoland was great with the 550 package. If a 1.5 mile track is good with the 550 package, that package ruined Kansas, which is one of the best. So I think it'd be amazing. Raleigh, I think that's how you say it. New Orleans, Monterey, Memphis, Minneapolis, or St. Paul would all be great places to run a street race. I mean, if there was Minneapolis, I would go to a Minneapolis street race just because I know there'd be Minnesota Vikings there that I could meet just on that alone. Jarrett, what are your thoughts on Tua and the Dolphins? Well, I mean, as long as Tua doesn't get any more drain blamage, then I think that they're a Super Bowl contender. And I'm totally messing with IDK player if he's watching because he's a Miami Dolphins fan. Here's one, and I know everyone's want to hear this, from Irvin Alvarado in the chat. Jarrett, what are your thoughts on the NASCAR clickbait channels we've seen inundating, and your concerns as a creator? All right. I'm not going to go too in depth. I'm not going to make a video unless this becomes important. Clickbait channels have been around forever. They've been in every sort of community. They were really bad in F1 community for a while, and they're just getting over it. They were bad in the NFL, NBA, MLB, stick and ball sports communities. NASCAR has a smaller YouTube community than those. That's just the way it is. But in my opinion, from what I've seen from all of you guys, from what I've seen from other creators' channels and such, God, my nose itches. You have a very hardcore base in this community. We have a very big reach that people don't see in this community because I think in a lot of respects, I still get people today that are like, there's people who cover NASCAR on YouTube. I'm like, yeah, there's plenty. I think nowadays there's more than ever, and there's a lot of great channels popping up. I said I wouldn't make a video, but I know Jet did, MDK, and he's a channel that's been popping off really good, and I'm happy for him because that kid is amazing. But there's a wide open area right now for people to get tons of views. And from what it looks like, it's one person controlling all of them. I know I can say that the person that originated from most of them screwed up with their location. Now maybe they're using a VPN, but based on the broken English used by the AI and the copy and paste of articles and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure I pinpointed the guy to living in Germany. And there's a lot of ways to make money. I mean, you look at these, there are like 12 or 13 of these types of channels that are all with the same thumbnails, same kind of videos, clickbait. Like Will England says, really bad after Coy Gibbs' death, capitalizing on people's deaths for money and clicks, just disgusting content. Riling up race, stuff with Bubba Wallace when it had nothing to do with what he was talking about. So you could get the lowest common denominator audience. It's just overall, it's a problem. But the thing is you got to just report it. Videos are nice and all, but there's nobody in this community. I don't care how big anyone in this community gets. There's nobody big enough in this community that is going to have a big enough video to get rid of this. That's just how it is. For me, the best course of action, dislike them every time you see it. Report it every time you see it. Report every new channel you see. That's about the best way you can do, because spam like that, it's in every community. So, yeah. It's disgusting. It's gross. Everyone uses a little bit of clickbait. Everyone does. You have to, in a sense, to get people to watch videos. And there's ways to do it right. But the ways they do it is wrong. It's straight up lying about people, defaming people, getting people who are not even in the sport, but are looking for, hateful reasons, political reasons, whatever. Like I said, just gotta, go after them in the sense of dislike them to hurt them in the algorithm, report them so that they won't get recommended to you anymore, because that's the thing. They get recommended to core NASCAR fans, and then that early, what? Clicking in gets them all out. So that's what I'd say. But that's all I'm going to put on it. By the way, what's up, IDK? That's all I'm going to say about that. I don't like it. It does hurt creators. I'm not going to lie. Like, if you've noticed your favorite creators getting less views than usual, it's probably why. It's because it does take up a big place in the algorithm. And at this point, it's just something that YouTube's going to have to work through. You can't really change it, is what I'll say. I know that sucks to hear, and I know we're probably going to see them for the first half of next year, but I think by the end of next year, all those channels will be, booted out. It's just a natural progression of YouTube communities. NASCAR's just a little behind it. I hate it, but it's just that's how it's going to go. Let's get to some other topics here. And let's go back really quick to the community post I put, see if there's any other questions. There's a couple of them. Wow, we've actually answered a couple of these so far. Charles asked, anything about what to talk about. What are the expectations for next year? Who will do great, who won't, etc. I won't go too in depth, but I think that you're going to keep seeing this rise of younger drivers doing well. You're going to see, a lot of these guys that are younger doing well. You're going to see a lot of the older guys like a Truex, like a Harvick, maybe take another step down. Maybe a Denny Hamlin. I mean, Denny Hamlin came on hot at the end of last year. He was a top 10 guy. But at the same time, he is getting older. Denny Hamlin, I believe, is in his 40s. If he's not, he is damn close to. But Denny Hamlin is 42 years old. And he just turned 42. We've kind of been spoiled with drivers in the past staying past that age. That's not every driver. And Denny Hamlin has had a history of back injuries, has had a history of, of just that in general. Now, I know there's talk of him staying connected into the web of JGR. That stuff, might keep him longer. I don't know. But he owns a team now. He has a lot at stake in the sport, and maybe being a driver isn't the best move for him anymore at this point. By the way, since IDK Player was in there, I'll bring this up. IDK Player and I actually have a bit of a partnership we are starting up next year from February through the second week of June. A new iRacing series, the NR Cup series. It's in his NR brand. But what we'll be doing is 10 races, 5 broadcasts on IDK Player's channel. The first 5, the last 5 broadcast on my channel, starting in February. It's gonna be really fun. You're gonna see a lot of people from NR Night in America. You're gonna see a lot of people, that might be part-time that are in the sport, whether it's drivers, different creators, whoever that might jump in at time to time. But you're gonna see a lot of good racing on that. It's gonna be amazing. I don't know, IDK, if you're watching, text me if I can say yes or no on what the tracks will be. I don't think, we'll both be commentating too. I'll be my first time really commentating. So be sure to keep an eye out on that. First race is February 10th. It's Daytona. Gonna be really fun. We already got a lot of stuff to put together for it. It's going to be really fun. That's all I can really say about it at the moment. I don't want to give too much away, but we do have the schedule set up. It's gonna be a blast. Hunter Nixon Fishing, thank you for the 5. Expectations for Ross Chastain next year. See, Ross Chastain is interesting to me because I think as a lot of the bigger teams get a hold of this car more, there's probably gonna be people who get higher or lower. There's gonna be people who there's gonna be people that might shoot above Trackhouse. Maybe Trackhouse is better. I don't know yet. That's gonna be, but it's gonna be the big question, for next year. I think that either Chastain will be a championship contender or a mid-pack guy, but there's no in between. He's not gonna be just good. He's not gonna be super bad. But I think he's either going to be a championship contender or a 8th to 15th place guy. Thank you to the gun for 5. Last question from me and a bit off subject. Are you looking forward to trying the IPA Before I Die beer? Yes. So if many of you don't know, there is, Groovy Goose, you can put questions in the chat if you want to. That's no problem. But there's a podcast I follow called Purple Daily. It's a Vikings podcast that talks about the Vikings daily. Love it. Those guys are awesome. You'll actually probably see if you ever click onto it. I get a lot of inspiration, especially for the podcast and for post-race streams from them. Great guys. I've been on there before. Some really good members of the Minnesota sports media. They have a beer called Before I Die, and their slogan for their show is, "We just want to see the Vikings win a Super Bowl before I die." And I feel that wholeheartedly. But they have a beer with that. Their beer Surly, their sponsor Surly, which is a beer company that's local up in Minneapolis, I believe, has a beer called Before I Die. And oh my God, I want to drink it just to know what it tastes like. Actually, a really funny thing today, if you follow me on Twitter, they have a jokingly kind of cabinet, and it's like the Purple Daily Leadership Cabinet for Vikings, for the Vikings community. And I have got my application accepted to be leader of NASCAR development. So fun stuff there. Morrow says, anyone witnessing the train wreck of motorsport games? I mean, I've been watching for a while. I'm not going to, rip too much into the people at the track. Those people work their asses off, and me being friends with Rusty, I would never slant, from what he's been able to show me before and stuff like that. Like, I would never, ever talk, bad again about anyone that's at the track. But it's rough, man. It's rough. The NASCAR console gaming community at this point has been killed by the lack of a good online mode, by lack of a game. So it's difficult. I know that you got iRacing and Motorsport Games partnering up. Dale Jr. has hinted at a remake of Dirt to Daytona, which I think would be awesome if done correctly. The base of Ignition wasn't bad. Like, the base of it looked beautiful. Like, it was the best looking game, but it was eye candy. But when that game worked, it was actually really good. But the thing is, it barely ever worked. But you look at the path that Motorsport Games has went down. You look at the seemingly big amount of stock trouble, legal trouble that the guys up top have gotten, or the guy up top has gotten. At this point, it's just dead in the water. I'm glad some people like it, but it's not in a good place. It's not in a good place at all. Thank you, John, for the $2 super chat. Do you think the cars will be safer next year? I think so. I think, people like to say that NASCAR is full of just a bunch of idiots. That couldn't be further from the truth. They have some of the smartest people in the world working in NASCAR, engineering-wise, too. This isn't me kissing NASCAR's ass. This is just telling the truth. That is how it is. So I'd say that I think it'll be safer. It seemed encouraging what people that really understood the engineering side of it said about the changes they're going to be making. So I think it will be. Let's see what else we got here. Chase 410, Iceberg, Indy Road Course or Indy Oval? I like the racing better at the Indy Road Course, but if it brings more people, we'll bring back the Oval. Let's see what else we have in here. That's why NR 2003 is the best. That is pretty true. I should do an NR 2003 stream sometime. Or like Blue Jimmy said, we got iRacing, we're fine. Maybe I could do an iRacing stream. I might be coming in. I might be coming into possession of a sim rig soon. Maybe. Let's see what else we got. My bold prediction for 2023 is that Eric Jones will get 2 wins and Petty GMS will at least make the round of 12. Bold, but realistic. Hunter, thank you for the 10. When the Camaro is discontinued, will Chevrolet have what will Chevrolet have in Cup and Xfinity? Also, could you see the NASCAR RTA issue becoming the next CART IRL split? Evening from Pittsburgh. Hashtag Let's Go Pens. Well, let's break that question apart piece by piece. Camaro being discontinued, will Chevy have, what will Chevy have in the Cup and Xfinity series? Personally, I think that they'll, if there's not a type of car for them a model of car for them to have. They might just have the Chevrolet. Like, let's be real. I know people, especially older fans, like the win on Sunday, sell on Monday mantra, but like, has that been realistic for anybody, in NASCAR in the last 30 years? Like, the cars are nothing like the cars we drive on the road. They're basically just a shell that looks like a street car. So I guess I know why the manufacturers want it, but it's so unrealistic nowadays, especially if you want younger people to. Like, I'm sorry, like, I saved up my money pretty well, and I couldn't go out and buy a 2023 Camaro. Like, it's unrealistic. But they will have some type of car. I don't know which one they'll have. I know there were rumors of a Monte Carlo comeback, but that never really came back to anything. As for NASCAR RTA issue becoming the next CART IRL split, I'm not going to jump to that immediately, just because it is very drastic. But the fact that even if it's posturing, that they're talking about creating an exhibition series, and then after 2024, there's nothing in the contract yet, because there's no contract yet to say they can't go out and make one. The fact that that is where they have to go to get their point across, I'll just ask any of you guys out there, is there anyone in your lifetime that has heard NASCAR's teams, drivers, anyone say that? There was talk about a driver, I think there was like the driver union that failed in like the 60s. But is there anyone in here that remembers something like this? It is very much unprecedented for many young fans. So I think I think it's an overreaction right now to a degree, but it should not be ignored, and this should not be just brushed aside, because I guarantee you, I don't think there'd be a split this year or even next year or anything like that. But I guarantee there were people 5, 6, 7, 10 years before the, CART IRL split that thought it was impossible. And, let me see if I can find the Indy 500 ratings. I have them up here. The history of the Indy 500 ratings in America. To put this in perspective of how different a situation this is popularity-wise between NASCAR and open wheel racing, on how damaging this could be. In the, obviously there are less channels, so bigger ratings. But in the 80s, for instance, it was normal for the Indy 500 to get, a 8.8 was, or let's see, in the 80s, the lowest rating for an Indy 500 was a 7.8 rating. Not how many millions were watching, rating. And then by the 90s, it was 9.8, 9.3, 9.1, 9.4. And, these are like it's put down as the IndyCar golden years. Now, to put that in perspective, the top season for NASCAR TV ratings was 2005. And the most watched race was the 2006 Daytona 500. So to put this in perspective ratings-wise compared to the Daytona 500, and how big much of this was with IndyCar, and how much it changed. The Daytona 500's top rating was an 11.3 rating in 2006. The Indy 500 ratings got up to a 14.1 and were at a 9.4 right before the split. After the split, the rating was a 6.6. A 6.6 rating would entail a 30% decrease year to year. And nowadays, and it has never recovered, the Indy 500 vaulted up to a 6.5 in 2005, but since then has never eclipsed 5.0. And last year had 2.3. Now, it had 3.7 million viewers for the Indy 500 this past year. The Daytona 500 this past year had just under 9 million. So if something like that were to happen, if there were a NASCAR RTA split, it would be just as drastic of a change to the American motorsports climate as was the split in the 90s, because that was a big part of what pushed NASCAR to the forefront. And I'll be honest, a 30% decrease in viewers for the Daytona 500 would mean that like 5 to 6 million would watch, but that was not sustained over time. Like, think of like a normal Fox race getting about 4 million viewers a week. That would be like the high end of a NASCAR split. And what I'm talking about with this, and why I'm going so in depth with this, is because NASCAR, in my opinion, and the teams know this too, they cannot have something like that happen. That can't even be the last case scenario. Like, even if you got to bite the bullet and have like a 2 or 3 year deal and then try and negotiate through that, something. Because the way NASCAR is now, you are averaging 3 million a race. And if you take 30 to 50% of the audience out, you're basically turning the Cup Series into being as viewed as the Truck or Xfinity Series. You are handing F1 the keys to being the most watched motorsport in America. IndyCar probably would surpass them, especially with the great deals that IndyCar's been making on the TV side. They just need to capitalize it and get some younger people and younger blood in there. So I don't think it would happen. But I'm with a lot of you guys. Like, NASCAR would not survive as we know it today if that happened. And like I said, I don't think it would happen. I think that the teams and the sanctioning body are smart enough to not let that happen. I think that the potential partners are smart enough to offer up a big enough, amount of money to make sure that doesn't happen. I mean, look at this right now. NASCAR, for the first time since I believe 2013, had ratings go up in any sense of the word. Like, NASCAR right now has hit that bottom and is stable. If they were to do this now, this is the worst possible time to do it. So I'm going to say this. I think there should be talks about it. I think that everyone involved should have their feet held to the fire a bit with it. But I'm not going to act like this is something that is imminently happening. I think there are places that can be worked on. I think in a lot of the ways, teams not being able to make money, that has to be worked on with the TV contract, and they cut costs already with the next gen car and long term. I think that with driver safety, there's a lot of tension in the sport right now, which is why we can't just brush it aside. But I don't think that I don't think it'll happen, but it's not unrealistic at this point. I'm not going to be a doom and gloomer yet. But I mean, it's been unprecedented in NASCAR post 2020, so anything could happen. John, thank you for the 5. Do you think the rain big one this year in August at Daytona was terrible officiating or terrible luck? A mix of both. Now, it was raining on the front stretch. Like, it was. There's video of it raining as they're going through 3 and 4. I think, it was a bit of a pop-up too. If you look on the radar, when that happened, it was just a pop-up in that section of the track. But I think at this point, if you're NASCAR and you've already had the issues with safety, you've already had the issues with officiating, batten down everything, like lock everything down, have spotters, have some kind of way. If, we have the lightning warnings, right? Maybe if rain gets too close to the track, we have a rain delay for that. And if it doesn't happen, if the radar shows it moves off, it breaks up, whatever, then you immediately get back to racing. But a lot of the time, it's just a Florida thing, like John, you said in the chat. But I feel like it was somewhat avoidable. But, it is what it is. Like, automatic rain sensors, like Jeff says, I think if you could master that would be the right way to go about it. But I don't know how you do that. So I just hope that this year is better. In the community post, L puts, does pineapple belong on pizza? L says yes. I say no. Jonathan says, you get a blank check from NASCAR to design a track. What does it look like? Martinsville. I love Martinsville. Maybe Iowa. And I wouldn't want I wouldn't want that power. Freeman Motorsports in the chat. Hey, Iceman. Small NASCAR content creator here. Wondering if you playing clips from the broadcast in your videos affect your monetization. I live stream my commentary to races, currently trying to expand. Okay. NASCAR has been very kind with how they let creators use their clips. I personally don't like using clips with audio just because I like having something to say. It's not my style as much anymore. It used to be, not anymore. As long as you don't use stuff that's brand new, like if you're using, I've used stuff that's brand new before, but I use it very moderately, you can. So I would say, get iMovie on your phone, and a nice thumbnail creator, and that's a good way to start. And if that's the direction you want to go in, then, start getting more editing equipment and audio software and stuff like that. Dip your toes in it to start with, see what works, and don't use super long extended clips, and you should be okay. Let's see what else we got. Why not have a track that goes clockwise? Well, one, it's because of the safety aspect. Two, it originated from horse racing that you go counterclockwise, turn left. There's just a lot of reasons. So I actually made a video on that. The anonymous Accelerdo. Hey, Ice, what are your thoughts on NASCAR's plans for hybrid engines, possibly by 2025? I think NASCAR is 10 years too late on adopting them, but I want to hear your opinions on this. I would say for that one, I think that it's the natural progression of the auto industry. I've said it before, I personally am not a fan of electric. I like, combustion engines. I love the noise. I love all that. The way hybridization's been talked about, I wouldn't mind that as much, just because, honestly, like, I've heard that the electrification component of combustion engines, the hybridization of them, would actually increase horsepower pretty well. So an increase in horsepower and an engine designed for that increase in horsepower, I think would really be good. MVR owner says, Jarrett, did you know that you and I share the same name, sort of? No, I did not. Let's see what else we got in the community post. Let's see. Oh my God, this is good. I'm not going to talk about it, but it is a funny comment. Owen put, talk about the economic problems of South American countries due to U.S. interference during the Cold War. Maybe I'll do that on another channel I'm making. We talked about street courses. I'm not going to talk about the World Cup. I'm not really a fan of Qatar, to say the least. Or soccer, at that matter. Tristan, 2022 Black Friday deals and what you got NASCAR edition. I didn't buy anything Black Friday. I was actually more enjoying my time with family since I've moved. I haven't been able to hang out with my family as much, so it's been it was nice being able to hang out with them. and my girlfriend's family at that. Yes, Spencer. I'm going to be making another channel that's non-NASCAR stuff. It's basically just going to be a passion project thing. I might upload once every month or two or something like that, but that might be it. I would say like, I don't know, like 2 topics I want to talk about are the 2010 Minnesota Vikings and the fact that The Walking Dead lasted like way too freaking long. 2 things I'm really interested outside of NASCAR, but I would not put on this channel because I don't want people to just pass it by because it's not NASCAR. So I'm gonna, I'll announce the name of it and the link to it at some point. It has an ice in the name. So there's that. But it'll be just something I do for fun. I might have something out this month. Might be January. It might be June for all I know. Whenever I have time outside this channel, because this channel is the number one priority. Even if that channel took off and got like 1 million subscribers, this channel is the number one priority. You guys watching are the priority. That one's just a passion project. I don't give a damn if it's if it's demonetized or if I never get monetization or if it gets 10 views. Just because I'll be able to say something I want to say outside of just the sport itself, it'll be fun. And by the way, none of you have guessed the name of it right. I'll let you know when you do, if I see it. But yeah, none of you have guessed the name right so far. Ice Passion. That's funny. Let's see. What happened to open face helmets in NASCAR? They were phased out for safety precautions after the death of Dale Earnhardt. Ricardo in the chat, are you going to the LA Busch Clash in February? I might be. It's not as high as a 50-50 chance. But I might be going there to do a few different fun things. Ice Cold Takes, that's not it either. Ice Baby. If you knew how many, it's not my name. It's not my name. I love that. Everyone's just going to guess what it is. I wonder if it even come up if I look it up. Because I haven't posted anything yet. So, let me see. All right. Obviously, it won't come up with videos, so I have to look up on channels if it'll show up. Yeah, it doesn't even come up if I look up the channel itself because I haven't uploaded anything on it yet. Wow. How about that? So even if you were to get it right, you wouldn't be able to find it. Ice ASMR. No, I will never be an ASMR person. I might say that as a joke, but that's it. No, I'm not Ice Viking. I'm surprised no one has thought of this one because it's like a very common phrase. Let's see what else we got here. Here's one. We need an NWP all-time Cup driver draft. I don't know about a draft of a all-time Cup driver draft, but maybe something at some point. Guess Jarrett's second YouTube channel, wrong guesses edition. Pretty much, that's how it's been. It's not ice cream. That'd be like if someone made a parody Brazzers account of mine. Icicle, no, but good guess. The Ice Machine, I like that. Oh man, I would have. If I would have. Oh, I should have thought of that one. That would have been actually really cool. On thin ice. Nope. Ice cream for ice cream. Reminds me of the show Arthur. How much parody will there be next year? Is another question on here. A little less than this year, but probably still a lot. NASCAR's going to keep pushing for it. At least offer a clue. I offered a clue. There's ice in it. There's ice in it. There's people who have put stuff in here who have been oh so close, but haven't got, nope, not cold as ice. Like, I'll let you know the name if you get it right, but ice in my veins. That's a good one. Iceman, no. Ice shoes. No, 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 not ice shoes. But I'm gonna let Slap know you said that whenever I put that thing up. By the way, did you know Slap has a second? So he has a second channel. He has a third channel too, called Slap Eats, and it's just all about food. Yeah. Oh my god, you guys are so close. That's the funniest part. You are so close. Like I've seen at least 3 or 4. Nope, nope. There's some that are up, but I've seen like 3 or 4 that even have the right words, but don't have it right. Log Drive. Why do you think that Christopher Bell is so underrated among NASCAR fans? And also, how do you think Cindric will do next year? He will have a sophomore slump or a breakout year. Okay, one of you has literally all the words correct, but there's spaces in them. You're so close. You're almost. No, it's not tip of the iceberg. There's like a million channels like that. But Christopher Bell, I think, is underrated among NASCAR fans just because he's not a person that goes out there personality-wise and is, pushing people around. He's not a dirty driver by any means that gets attention for that. God, you guys are so close. So damn close. But I think it's also just because, he's when you're teammates with guys like Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch, there's so much that kind of gets brushed aside when you're not that person. You would think Blue Jimmy, but no. But I think that the more he wins, the more that he shows off being the best driver at JGR, I think the more recognition he's going to get. As for Cindric, I don't think he'll have a sophomore slump. I think he'll actually do a lot better next year. I think he'll have a lot, and I mean a lot of top 10s and probably a good amount of top 5s. Let's see. What are there? Well, sorry, Cam. We already have drivers who have already signed up for the NR Cup Series. But Race and Enter Night in America, I know, is a big one on IDK Players channel. That way you get your name out there maybe for next year. Ice in my veins. Iceberg 2. This time it's personal. Ice Titan 80. Got you. Some of you, you're getting colder now. No pun intended. But you're getting colder. You had the words in there. Will you put Rush's subdivisions that you had live before? I have that still on my channel. I just have it privated, so I can still send that to people if you want. I feel. Are you guys quitting? Because I feel like some of them are still coming in. God, again, you guys are close. You'll have like 2 of the words right, or you'll have like some Iceberg 2, Electric Boogaloo. I like that one. Wow. I can't believe you guys are so close, but didn't get it right. Someone left cheese as a comment. Iceberg, nope, not ice skate either. Dead ice, nope. Ice heart, nope. Ice breaking, nope. Ice cube, nope. Iceland, nope. Breaking the ice, yes. That'll be what it's called. Just put some spaces in there and no A. Yep, you got it. Breaking the ice will be what it's called. Wow, I can't believe that took you guys like 15 minutes. So I'll make a couple videos beforehand and release them maybe like bi-weekly to start with. That way it's not just one dead channel that nobody watches. Yeah, but I figure have a little fun with it. It'll probably be a completely different style than it'll be a completely different style, I think, in a lot of ways than what you see on this channel. Different thumbnails, I might use it even to practice on my editing so that this channel can get better. But yeah, I wish I could find the actual channel itself on a YouTube search, but I can't. Or I would put the link. Like if I could actually find it, I would put the link in the chat for you guys. But it's not popping up. Not at all. Like, I'll put the filters on for like channels, and it's not there. I mean, I'll know if you guys find it. I have part of the logo is the same Iceberg font. But I can't find it on a search, like, at all. Let me see. And I'm scared to sign out of my account because I don't know what it'll do to the live streaming part. So, but yeah, that's something to look forward to. It should be pretty fun. Let's see what else we got in the chat here. Well, let's see. You know what? Maybe I'll have fun with it, and you guys just check in on this stream like a day from now. Maybe I'll have the link to the channel in the description, like in the description underneath all of my links. Maybe I'll just take the Twitter and Instagram link out and just replace it with the second channel link. That way, if I can tell how many of you guys come back and see if you want to subscribe to it or not. What track? Okay, so Anonymous Exceller Do says, okay, anyway, what tracks, excluding North Wilkesboro, Chicagoland, Road America, and Rockingham, would you like to see see host a cup race? That's a good one. Because those are like all, those are my, like, you know, big four. That's a good question. IRP would be a good one. I'd like IRP. If they can build that place up. Nashville Fairgrounds. I mean, it's right down the road for me, like 20 minutes away. I'd love to have the Nashville Fairgrounds on the schedule. And it sounds like a lot of the stuff, the meetings today and you know, recently have been positive. It's just city governments move at the pace of snails. Buffalo's beaten New England, so there's that. I see some people saying Sebring, Pikes Peak. That's another one. Pikes Peak would be a good way to get out there, to the closer to the West Coast. Do you think Cole Custer comes back to Cup once Harvick retires? I think so. Montreal, that's a good one, Noah. That's a good one. Yeah, I know. Well, there can be different names, but nobody really that relevant has a name breaking the ice. I mean, there were people that had the Iceberg before me, but they were completely irrelevant in general. Like, I'm not saying I'm super relevant, but what I'm saying is more like there was nobody with more than 300 subscribers that had the name the Iceberg. So, like if you look up the Iceberg now, I'm the first channel that comes up. And yeah, Blue Jimmy, there's a reason why it's pretty hard to find it. YouTube does a thing that if you don't upload a video, you can't find your channel without a link already. So there's that. So that once I upload, or once I'm like getting ready to upload, I'll leave the link in the chat. And I might do this every time I stream when it's not the podcast or like a post-race stream or something, just to sort of build up, you know, if you guys want to watch or not. It'll be about stuff in general that's different. ABQ Doom, thank you for the 10. Would NASCAR be more popular if it were non-crown jewel races or shortened? If non-crown jewel races are shortened by 75 to 115 laps, to keep the attention of fans and transition from Xfinity and Gen 7 cars. I don't know about that. Personally, I think that would be a bad move. I think races that aren't crown jewels can be, you know, can have maybe like, if it's a 500 miler like Texas, have be a 400 or be different kilometer lengths. I mean, you can try that, but there's no way that I would want the Daytona 500 shortened or the Coke 600, the Brickyard 400 if it came back, Talladega races, even the Bristol Night Race. There's no way I'd want those. I was mad that Martinsville was shortened. You know, I can see some races being shortened. I mean, some of these road courses, like the road course races are actually, if you took off the stage cautions, would be extremely short. going back to the 2022 schedule, if you look at the run time, for instance, for Road America, they spent about 30 minutes under stage cautions, and that race lasted 2.5 hours. Half an hour of that race. I want to put this in perspective. Half an hour of that race, of a 2.5 hour race, was spent under stage caution. That's ridiculous. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous. And if you took out the stage yellows, like they're talking about doing at road courses, and you went back to Road America in the Cup Series, for instance, and then there goes the sirens right now, right past the house. Sounds like I'm right back at home where I used to live in Illinois. Like do a little math with me here. So there's, 2.5 hours, which means 20% of that race was spent under stage caution. Those were the only 2 cautions of the day. Laps took, a good amount of time. That race would probably be 2 hours, 10 minutes long. I'm just saying. I think a lot of it has to do with the race flow rather than the actual length of the race. You could have a 5-hour race like the Coke 600 was this year, and people will say it's the best race out there. You can have short-ass races like some of the road courses we've seen, like, for instance, Watkins Glen I thought was pretty good. And if I'm not mistaken, granted, you had the rain delay. But if you look at race time of that race, I believe it was under 3 hours that they were actually racing. I'd have to double check to be sure. The Watkins Glen race, which is one of the best races of the year for a lot of people, which had 5 cautions for 11 laps, had a grand total of 2 hours and 17 minutes of racing. 25 minutes of that was stage cautions. It's very realistic that you could have a Watkins Glen race be under 2 hours. Still be an awesome race. Same with the 5-hour, marathon of the Coke 600. Can be a very good race. So what I'm saying is it's more about race flow than it is about length. I think let's get rid of the stage cautions and still keep stages if you want them. I know a lot of people like them. Well, I might not be a big fan. I know people like them. So keep them in and go from there. Because I think that is what's bloating up these races so much. Kyle, thank you for the 10. What is your most underrated what-if scenario? Mine is Brad Keselowski getting a full-time Hendrick ride in 2010. I actually have a video I'm going to make about that. Probably, let's see. Let me see my video schedule. And yes, I do keep my video schedule on a whiteboard. Where's that? I have an opening in my schedule. Maybe I could, I don't know. Tentatively, maybe I can make that. If I haven't made one already, I have to double check really quick. Let's see. Brad. You know what? I could probably make a video on that. Like a what if Brad Keselowski stayed at Hendrick. Because I made one on... I made a video on Kyle Busch staying at Hendrick. Let me look at my what ifs really quick. And I can because I believe I have not made that before. Let's see. What if? What if? Wow, I've done a lot of what if videos. I feel like you can do these kind of videos though, and it would be almost like kind of like what Star Wars Theory would do. A lot of them were what if playoff videos. I don't see any reason why I couldn't do that. I don't personally see a reason why not. Wow. That is amazing. I'm just looking at the wow. YouTube has changed a lot this year from the creator side of it. That is for sure. By the way, be sure to subscribe to the channel while you're at it. I know a lot of you seem to be new here. Have I watched Andor? No, I have not. And hey, you know what? If in the comments afterwards you want to leave like ideas for the new channel, I'm open to any ideas for this channel, that channel, whatever channel you want. Leave ideas. I'll be happy about it. ABQ Doom, thank you for 5. Not the historic races, mostly the road courses and second date tracks, excluding the Coke 400. Again, the road course races seem long, but are shorter races. New Hampshire might seem long for some people, but is generally a shorter race. So, again, I think it's all about race flow, man. It's all about race flow. It's all about how it feels. So, MVR owner, just found out you were on the FUD Lead podcast. Are they still doing that? I know they had a bit of a rivalry with Ryan Vargas I wasn't exactly a fan of, but they seemed cool guys to me when I talked to them. I don't know. I'm actually going to be on another podcast soon. So when the podcast is to be announced, I will talk about that. I'll let everybody know in the community tab. Let's see. What do you think of the new World of Outlaws game? I believe it's made in part by iRacing. I've heard it's pretty good. I don't know yet. I do not know just yet. Need for Speed 5353. 5 for 5. Thank you. Video idea: a 30-minute video explaining why Ty Dillon is the greatest driver of all time. I don't know about that. I could do a video on Ty Dillon though. Yeah, I've been on a couple of podcasts before. I've been on Dumpster Fire. I know that I've been like grandfathered into their Super Bowl media day that they do. So if Minnesota does make it, I'm gonna be on there like decked out, like freaking out. So I've been on a good amount of podcasts actually. When I actually went back and looked at it, I was surprised how many people's shows I've been on before. Two Penny Puppet, thank you for the 5. An hour and 50-minute Watkins Glen race, and then we could all spend 2.5 hours talking about it on a live stream. Yeah, pretty much. That's what we do with the podcast. Remember, the podcast is February 1st, 2 months from now. I have a community post about the podcast and what you guys would like for next year, what you wouldn't. I would really appreciate as much feedback as possible on that. It would mean a ton to hear what you guys have to say. Because even if we don't do what each person says or individual things, we can tell by comments and likes and everything the general direction that you like going in. What if Randy Moss stayed and Culpepper kept getting propped up? Episode 84. The Moss deal, I believe, was a Brad Childress thing multiple times. And if you're a Viking fan like me, you weren't exactly a fan of Chili. Though I don't think anyone would really be a fan of the quarterback that wasn't a fan of him either, seeing how Brett Favre stole from the poor. Hunter Nixon Fishing, thank you for the 5. Do a video on NASCAR 2020, the year Kevin Harvick exposed the system. Darian already has done a video on that. Mark says, Vikings make the Super Bowl, Mahomes will just spank them and send them back north. I mean, they said the same thing about Josh Allen in Buffalo, and we won. So it's what I've learned anymore is it's any given Sunday, and Mahomes very well could spank them. Same time, the Vikings could come out and have a fourth quarter comeback. Like, that's just how it is. I'm not going to consider it a Super Bowl win until I see Kirk Cousins or whoever the quarterback would end up being in the future, if it's not him, lifting up the Lombardi Trophy. Anita says, are you going to watch the awards show? I'll catch glimpses of it. I'll be real. Like, what's the point of what's the point of watching it if it's not live? Like, it's tape delayed on Peacock, right? Or something like that. Like, what's the point? Like, we all know what's going to happen. We all know who wins the championship, who gets the awards. I don't know. It feels... That just doesn't have that... Like, I feel like if you're not going to have it live, don't have it at all. Like, do the special ceremony for the champions before the first race of the season at Daytona, if you want to. I don't know, man. Jets _ Mets. Thank you for the 2. Good luck, buddy. You know what? I hope it's a good game on Sunday. I appreciate I appreciate it being really nice, a nice comment. I know if it were my Vikings, I wouldn't leave a comment at all because, you know, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all, kind of thing, I guess. So I appreciate being much more mature than I would be. NFL this season, nothing makes sense. I agree. What if the Minneapolis Miracle never happened? I think Zimmer gets booted a year too early, which means we probably don't get Kevin O'Connell, or maybe we do. Maybe we get Jim Harbaugh. Do you want 5 lug nut wheels to come back? Yes, selfishly because I love hearing the sound of the pit stops, but I know they're never gonna, at least not in the near future. Let the Primal Cookie. Let's all pretend to be shocked that Chase won most popular driver. Really? Man, I thought that guys like, Kyle Busch or Bubba Wallace would win it. I mean nothing by that. I'm just joking, guys. Just chill. Chrome Diesel, do you think it hurts the hype with awards not being live? Also, no burnouts. Well, I think the burnouts thing from what Danny said was more due to construction in the area. But yeah. Jets and Vikings are cousins, no pun intended. Yeah, I mean, y'all were in the running with us to get Kirk. What if the Vikings never attended the boat party scandal of 2005? Yeah, when I read the actual reports about that, I was like, it was so disgusting. It was gross, man. What if the 2020 or 2022 seasons had the Winston Cup points format? Well, Hunter, you were in luck because in my community tab, now granted you'll have to scroll back to November, I do actually have, and I do keep track of the Winston Cup points. I will let you all know for now. Right now, it is for fun. I mean nothing by it. I'm not saying that whoever wins that is the real champion or anything like that. I'm also not saying, to get all pissed off about it. I do it for fun. So if you want to see that, you can scroll back about a month to, I believe, November 7th, I think, is when I posted it. It's about 3.5 weeks ago to a month ago. But yeah, there's that. Let's see what else we got here. Scrolling through. JC1424 left chili dogs. Yes, Harvick would have won with the Winston Cup points if it was raced the same way. Kyle Larson would have won last year, and Chase Elliott would have won this year. Blake, thank you for the 2. Good to see you here tonight. Question, what kind of running shoes do you use? Brooks Ghosts. I actually just got 2 new pairs of shoes when I was up visiting my family because they have this. In Rockford, Illinois, there's this nice little shop called Runner's Image, and it's a locally owned place. The people in there are excellent with how they take care of you, with their knowledge, all of it. And I trust them over anybody else in the world with what shoes I would need. And so I got 2. I got these ones I have on now are orange. They have an orange line with dark blue soles, and they're light blue on top. And the other ones have silver on the side of them and are dark blue. If you can't tell, with all of this, blue is in a lot of ways my favorite color. Plus the Iceberg logo just fits the brand. But I will say this about running that I will include on this channel. I am actually in May going to record, edit, and put up my first vlog on this channel. Now I'm gonna keep it short. I don't want it to, I like watching back on Danny's 2-hour vlogs. But that's just not my style of editing with it. I'll probably make it like 8 to 12 minutes like a normal video and probably do a abridged version on shorts. But what I'm going to do is this. This is the Mad Max Madman plan I have for this right now. So the marathon I have, let me make sure I have the dates right. May 20th, which is a Saturday. So, May of 2023, I am going off and doing an absolute crazy 4 days. Absolutely nuts. So, well, actually, it sort of counts 5 if you count the next day. So, here's what we got to lay it out for you. On Thursday, I'm going to be flying out of Nashville and having a connecting flight to Dallas that flies me up to Montana. I'm going to stay in Montana on Friday, run a marathon on Saturday morning up in Montana, then fly from Montana to Seattle, fly from Seattle to Chicago, then fly from Chicago to New York, not New York City, to North Carolina to Charlotte. And then on that Charlotte race, at the moment, I have a friend, might be Eric, picking me up from the airport that morning. And we're going to drive up to North Wilkesboro the day after my marathon and watch the All-Star race in person. And then that next day, I'll fly back from North Carolina to Tennessee, back home. So to keep it like this, I'm going to have 2 flights to Montana, run a marathon. 4 hours after that marathon, take a flight to Seattle, which will be flight 3, flight 4 to Chicago, flight 5 to North Carolina. Go up an hour or so to North Wilkesboro, watch the All-Star race, and then fly back the next day. So that is going to be the most whirlwind. What would it be at that point? That would be the most whirlwind 96 hours I think I'll ever have pulled off. So there will be no post-race streams, but there will be something from it. I am gonna be dead ass tired, but it is gonna be so worth it because I get to run my marathon. I get to run a marathon in the 5th state, my 5th marathon, and then go. I already got the tickets and everything. It's all tax write-offs at this point for me because nice stuff like that. That's the thing I tell about people that are into YouTube. If you get into it long enough, you actually can, if you make content with what you do. Oh yeah, trust me, I'm going to get tons of miles through Expedia, tons of points. What I'm trying to do is save up so I can get enough points to fly from Tennessee to Hawaii for free. Like, that would be my dream there. Gonna wear a GoPro for the run. I don't know about a GoPro. See, it's in a national park in Montana. If you know about Montana at all, you know in those national parks, there are 3 animals types that I've been told when I look stuff up about this run to be vigilant about, and that is bears, cougars, and not the fun kind. Joking, and moose. So that should be fun, man. Like, honestly, I know that sounds crazy, but can you imagine if it's like, oh yeah, and then I ran past a black bear on mile 20, saw a moose walking through the street at mile 25, then jumped on a plane and went there, bison, yeah. Well, I don't know, jet lag won't be that big of an issue because it's only going across 3 different time zones. And I've went over 2 time zones before. I don't know about 3. 2 didn't affect me at all, so 3 shouldn't be too bad. Actually, going to the mountain time zone in Montana would be better because I'll wake up earlier, so I'll be ready to go earlier for the marathon itself. The hardest part for me is knowing where to pick up and take out the rental car. And it's nothing asked, is it Meese or Moosin? I like Meese, kind of like goose. Let's get a couple more of these things in, and then we will head out. There's a lot of ones I've already covered on here. Wow, there's actually a lot I've covered on here. Let's see. Talk about NASCAR X-Pipe sounds in the late 90s and early 2000s. Beautiful. An IDK player showed me 2 nights ago. The late models on Daytona on iRacing, and they have the X pipes, and it is beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it. And back in like 2020, I believe, Chase Briscoe in the Xfinity stream, he managed to, his team managed to have X pipes in his car, and you could hear the difference, and it was chef's kiss. Let's see. Do you have any thoughts on the Furco lawsuit? It sucks about Rockingham. Let's see. I mean, a lot of these I've already covered. So I think that about covers that for the most part. There's some of them that, like I said, I've covered or talked about or whatever. But yeah, I mean, well, are we at halftime yet? I wonder, wouldn't it be funny if we got a Grossi raid in here before we ended this baby off? Let me look. Me and Tom follow each other. I could honestly just text him for it if I was that desperate. But let me see where he's at. I know he's streaming. That's where I got the idea for the post-race streams. Snowball Derby picks? I don't know about that. Thoughts on Dale Jr.'s burner YouTube channel? I was one of the first 300 to subscribe to it. So they're still in the second quarter. How much time is left in the first half? Does anybody know? Big Hunter Man 77. You look like a different person without the beard. Yeah, I know. Thoughts about thoughts. Thinking. How is your fantasy football team doing? Your MVR owner says you're 9-3 in both your leagues. Well, let me check. Do I have anyone playing tonight? Oh, I do. Oh, I have Stephon Diggs. Nice. Let me see. I am 8-4 currently. Now, granted, my league is really, really, really difficult. Let me see the standings. I am second currently. My dad's third. Darian is sixth. He's 6-6 in our league. My dad's 7-5 in third. I am 8-4 in second, and the leader right now is 9-3 in first. I need my dad to beat him though, because he's playing him. Because if so, I get the lead tie, and then I just need to win out, and I would get the big bonus. I was like one of the only two or three people. I think I was the second person ever in my fantasy league, and my fantasy league has been going since 1995. Or I think around then, mid 90s. I was only the second person ever who managed to get both the regular season championship and the Super Bowl win in the same year. So Buffalo 17, New England 7, 22 seconds left in the first half. All right. I'll leave it up until they hit the third quarter, just in case, because I do know that Tom likes to do raids on different people, so I'd be completely fine with that, just to see the thing fly through. NASCAR fantasy, I'm not as big into NASCAR fantasy. It just doesn't have the same effect on me. It's nothing asked earlier. Are you gonna go to the Michigan race next year? I might. So here's that. What is okay? I'm sorry, Herschel. I don't know what is that Netherlands? I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I apologize. Blame the American education system and me not doing enough research on the rest of the world. But thank you for that. $75 on that. Can you make a video introducing Dan Gurney's NASCAR journey? He is my favorite American driver. Always love to listen to your podcast. Thank you. Yeah, hold on. Let me write it down. I got to figure out the right way to do them, because if they're a little off from what I normally do, I know that a lot of people, it won't hit the algorithm and a lot of people miss it. So I need to make sure that I do it right, and I do want to do it right. But let me write that down. NASCAR. Okay, got it written down. So thank you. Thank you for the donation. Taiwan is what MVR are saying. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'm a fan of Taiwan. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. I'm a fan. Let's see. But yeah, thank you. Thank you for watching. And for any of you that watch who are outside of America, thank you. Like, I see it in the analytics a lot. Like, you'd be surprised. There's actually a good amount of people who watch outside of America. Brazil is actually really high now, I've noticed. How many days until Daytona? That's a good one. Good question. Let's see. Let's do some counting. Honestly, one of you guys probably knows better in the chat how many days it is till Daytona. What about Johnny Benson? I'll think about a Johnny Benson video. I met him once. He's an awesome guy. What are your thoughts on Rick Allen's work in the media booth? I personally love his commentary. I think he's gotten much, much better since his early days. If you look at 2015, 2017, Rick Allen, even 2018, it's not that much to really like. But he's gotten much better. Maybe it's a Dale Jr. effect. It seems like that whole group has just improved each other a lot. I agree. No, I think he's overhated. I think he's overhated. All right, so it's halftime with that game. Let me see. I want to see how my. So, yeah, I'm winning 9-0 right now. I'm projected to win 98-68 over the guy who is 8th in our league, which top 8 of 10 make the playoffs. So I know I'm actually mathematically locked in the playoffs. That's nice. NASCAR Brazil Series will be coming this upcoming season too. That's right. It will be. 79 days. I see 83 and I see 79. Who is the biggest personality you've met personally in or out of NASCAR? I briefly met Donald Trump's press secretary at one point. I'm not going to make any statements politically or whatever. I've met Pitbull. I've met Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry. I was like really close to meeting Mario Andretti. Like, I actually kicked myself for not being able to meet him that day. God, I'm trying to think. I met Darius Rucker. God, I'm trying to think. I don't know who, like, other. Yes, Kayla McEnany. I met her briefly. Like I said, Pitbull. That was a big one. Oh, I forgot what the YouTuber's name was. He was at Daytona in 2020, but he had like 4 or 5 million subs at the time. Hootie and the Blowfish. Oh God. Now I'm kicking myself. Like, I should know who I've met, but I've met so many people, especially I've working in NASCAR and being in the media center a lot. It's like you actually meet a lot more people than you would think. Yeah, I did get to meet Governor Mike Huckabee. That was really cool. He was a really nice guy. I met what's his name? Hold on. He was in The Boys. Come on. Jensen Ackles. I met Jensen Ackles at Kansas in 2019. He plays Soldier Boy in The Boys. Actually, we do intros. I met Derrick Henry at the Nashville Super Speedway. He was there. Did not want to be noticed. Yeah, I met Jensen Ackles at Kansas before he played Soldier Boy. He was on pit road, and I was actually like, he was standing near me and my dad for a bit, and he was like, I was like writing stuff down and tweeting updates and stuff, and I didn't know who the hell he was. Like, I'll be real. Like, I knew like, yeah, I got told by these 2 or 3 soldiers, these women that were in the army, that he was like big from Supernatural, and I didn't know, because I had never watched Supernatural at that point. So he's just like asking different stuff, and I'm talking about drivers like this and Dale Jr. and Jeff Gordon, how they've retired. I did meet Jeff Gordon. That was cool. Met Dale Jr. a couple times. And just like, I got to talk to him. I didn't know who the hell he was. And then a couple years later, he's my favorite character in The Boys. And I'm like, man, I met Soldier Boy and I didn't even know it. What the hell? Like, I was so mad that night at myself. So there was that. And I used his version of Rapture for my intro for the fantasy football draft I did. So that was pretty cool. Let's see. God, who else did I meet? I've met a couple bigger YouTubers. I mean, there's Emp Lemon. Ooh. And by the way, let's see. I'm just looking right here at a text I just got. So, God, let's see. God, who else have I met? I was close to meeting Michael Jordan this year. That would have been pretty cool. God, I'm losing it. I got to be front row for Avenged Sevenfold, so that was cool. M Shadows noticed me, so that was awesome. I got to meet the band Wayland. That was cool. Yeah, like I said, I met Emp. Emp's pretty awesome. Did you meet the goat named Tua? I did not meet Tua. Yeah, Tree, of course. Met Tree. Met Five. Tom. Grassi. Who else? God, there's been a lot of people. I met Dave Portnoy. That was pretty cool. Like, he was pretty chill. He was at the Daytona 500 in 2020 and walking through, and so I just started talking to him. And it was really funny too, is that like people came up to us, and this is still weird to me. I'm cool with it. I'm not saying that, like, if you want pictures or any, like, any, like, do you want me to sign something? I'm cool doing that. I've never been someone growing up who's like had any recognition like that before, so it's still something I'm getting used to. I was walking with no, I did not meet Kanye West. I don't know if I'd want to at this point. I feel like people would go after me just for being in a picture around him. But people came up to me and Dave Portnoy asking for like pictures and autographs and stuff. I think some people thought I was like one of the people from Barstool or something like that. So that was cool. I met Dale Jarrett. Dale Jarrett's awesome. He's such a nice person. Let's see. Oh, cool. Hunter Nixon Fishing said, cool story. His mom used to work the concessions for Talladega in the mid-2000s just for extra cash. And Bruton Smith showed up and walked up to her booth. That's pretty cool. That's awesome. That's right. Blue Jimmy brings up a funny story. So I had a guy that came up to me at Richmond. I was in line waiting to get a Dale Jr. diecast because I was just there in full fan mode. And this guy comes up to me. Many of you might have heard the story, but I'll tell it again. But he comes up to me, just like, "Hey, are you the Iceberg?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I am. Nice to meet you, buddy." And he just goes, "Fuck you," and just walks off. And I'm just like, have a nice day. Like, I'd never been cussed out in public before. But you know what? Props to the guy for actually being, like, having the balls to come up to me instead of being these people. Like, I've seen so many people, like, I can recognize who have, like, talked shit to me over Twitter who just want to be internet warriors and go after me there. So, but then when they see me, they, like, act like they can't see me or, like, are scared or something. It's like, you know what? Respect where it's due. At least the person came up to me. He wasn't violent. He just, he's verbal. I can't get that mad. Like, there were 100 other people around. Like, he looked like a douche anyway doing that in front of people. So It was funny because like somebody in line was just like, somebody in line in front of me is like, "What'd you do to him?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I probably just like talk shit about his favorite driver or something." Spencer, the say that to my face threat, but in real life. I mean, you know what? He said it to my face. Respect. Again, respect where it's due. He said it to my face. And I gotta give it to him. Like, I'm not gonna, like, if you don't like me and you come up and you say, you know, like, hey, I don't like you, or F you, or whatever, you know, yeah, you might seem like a douchebag, but at least you have, you know, the pair to actually come up and say something instead of just being a keyboard warrior. And I respect that guy. You know what? I respect the fact that he actually walked up to me and just didn't want to sit on the keyboard. I've had people before take my picture at a track and talk shit about me and like, you know, tag me in it. And it's like, come on, dude, really? Like, if you have that much of a problem, actually talk to me. So, like, again, whether you like me, don't like me, whatever, I'm completely fine with anybody coming up to me. As long as it's not violent, I am completely fine with people coming up to me. You know, that's what I would say. You know, I talked about this earlier, but I see a lot of new people have come in here and talked about it. Coleslaw Custard said, "Will Kevin retire? What's your take?" I think he will after this season. I think he was supposed to already, but was like pulled back in. Spencer, I hate you so much. Can I have a picture with you? That'd be pretty funny. Again, I'd respect that. You know, it's nothing says, "Oh, that's weird." Yeah, it would be weird, but you know, it's part of the deal. You know, like I've had worse. I've had much worse. I've had a lot of people say a lot worse things to me than F you. So, is what it is. I'm the only person on the podcast I've met. That's actually pretty rare because, like, usually I'm all over the place and people come up to me. So I hope I get to meet you this year. I'm going to be at a lot of races. Have you met Kyle Busch or any drivers that you haven't had on the show? Yes, I've met Kyle Busch. I met him a couple times. You know, he's been nice enough to me. He was always pretty much in a hurry the whole time, but I've met him. Let's see. I took a picture with Denny at MIS, despite the fact that you know what? I disliked Kyle Busch, but I still went after his autograph when I was a giant Dale Jr. fan. Let's see. Ooh, the second celebrity that you met was a YouTuber named Popular MMOs. Turns out I met him the day he streaked at the Jacksonville Jaguars. That was him? I didn't know that. Let's see. I see a lot. You almost met Eric, but you're too. See, I get nerves. I'll say this: if anyone ever is nervous, come up to me. Come right up. You know, I make self-depreciating jokes. You know, I make jokes about myself. So I'll say this: when it comes to drivers, go right up to them. Honestly, like even if they look like they don't want to like talk all that much, that's part of their job. You know, they like. If they're that annoyed that people actually have that much passion, let it be known too that if they were a jerk or something. Sometimes they're in a hurry, I know. But yeah. Log drives. Oh yeah. It says I met you at Kansas this year, back at Indy last year. I also saw Eric and Darian, but I was too nervous to come up to them. Yeah, again, these guys are all really cool. They're just like you or I, great guys. So. Always feel free to walk up to any of us. As long as, you know, there's times where we'll have to, like, you know, go somewhere, and so we can't always stop. But in general, like if there is any time we're able to make, we will make that time. Let's see. Let's finish. How about we'll finish up in the next minute or two. We've done 2 hours already. This is way longer than I plan to do, but you know me, I can talk. Are you planning to go to Darlington? Maybe. I can't go on Labor Day weekend for the 500, but maybe I'll go in the spring. It all depends. Were you at the 2021 Bristol Dirt Race? I was not, but I wish I was. It was a blast when I went. I don't know if I'll go again, though. Not anytime soon. If it's on Easter, I want to spend time with family, to be honest with you. Let's see what else we got. Any others before we head out here? I'll take any super chats, any comments that I see that would be pretty cool. A typical NWP stream, but it's not the NWP stream. Yeah, pretty much. If you go to Darlington, I might see you. I don't know. Daytona 500 plans? Maybe. That's another maybe. Probably not, though. Let's see. I met Ryan Vargas. Yeah, Ryan's an awesome guy, too. Will I go to Dover? Not this year, but maybe 24 or 25 I will. There's a lot of tracks to go to. I might make it to one of the California races, whether it's the Clash, the last Auto Club race, or Sonoma, because I have some business stuff to attend to there. Second favorite dinosaur? Oh, well, Triceratops is number 1. I'd say Ceratosaurus is number 2. I might come back to Michigan. I don't know yet. It all depends on how the economy is. That's the hard part about how the economy gets worse, is that it does lessen the amount of races I'll go to. But yeah, I think that'll about cover it. I think that was fun. That was really fun. I think we should do more of these. I'll have more people on, I think, to do these. So, will I be at Atlanta? I plan to. I'm definitely gonna try. Yeah, I only live like 3 hours away. It's an easy drive. Coming to Charlotte? No, but North Wilkesboro? Yes. I for sure will be at North Wilkesboro. For sure will be at the second Kansas race. For sure will be at Nashville Super Speedway. And for sure will be at Gateway. So there's 4 races planned already. There's about 8 to 12 others that are on the chopping block. But guys, I think that's going to cover it for tonight. That was really fun, but I'm going to go to the gym. I've been working out. I don't know. It's probably not visible, but I've been working out, lost like 12 pounds already this off season, and I would like to continue it more. So again, I'll leave the link in the description for the YouTube channel and for the new one. So I guess till next time, bye-bye.